Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today I want to welcome you to the 15th season of the fanfic. What if Naruto was ignored by his family and made a contract with the KITSUNE'S? As always, remember that if you want to see more seasons of these fanfics, just leave me a like, comment and subscribe. So then, enjoy the fanfic.
33. The Wolf versus the Fox. With Naruto, he was running on the rooftops, noticing how there were more guards on the streets than normal. Naruto, I sense more negative intent. These guards, they all have just a negative feel about them. All of them, it's really bad. Naruto frowned as he heard that. For Kichiro to say that now was concerning. Why didn't he feel this way earlier? Usually, Kichiro can feel the negativity right away even if it's a back thought of a person. What happened? Suddenly, in front of Naruto was two guards. They were protecting the very building they were standing on, but Kichiro felt their intent say otherwise. "Hey, you boy! Why are you running?" a guard asked. "Don't trust him, Naruto. Don't trust any one of these bastards. Get through them. By whatever means necessary." Naruto smirked. The blonde didn't respond, nor did he stop his running speed, charging right at them. He instead jumped up and spread his legs to kick both men in their face simultaneously, pushing them both of the roof. Naruto sighed. "I doubt that really hurt me more than it hurt you," he shouted as he watched the two men fall. He turned his head and frowned. He then channeled Sage Chakra to his body to get a feel of the ominous chakra fall upon him like a wave of water in the ocean. It was so strong too. It was nearing tailed beast levels. But the feeling was being directed to the entire village, but it was definitely coming from the entrance of the village. So that's where it's at. Naruto began running along the edge of the building to get wherever that ominous feeling was, but soon he heard a loud explosion. Naruto turned his head to see smoke coming from parts of the village like it was fireworks, but just more deadly. So much is going on. So much negative chakra. What the hell? The blonde turned his head to see the Okamikage running down the street in total fear while blood was splattered all over him. Behind him was a man that Naruto didn't recognize, but the chakra helped him greatly. "Alpha, he broke out of jail. He must be the cause of all this. I knew we should have just killed his ass. Why, ye peep. Rookie move on your part, player." Naruto ignored his fox as he jumped down and got in between the two, just in time before Alpha sent a chakra disc at Okamikage's back to kill him. Naruto blocked the attack with his sword. "So, I guess you didn't like your treatment at the inn, I suppose?" Okamikage dropped on the ground as he turned to see Naruto standing in front of him. "And Naruto-kun, you're here. Thank goodness. This is Tenma. Tenma Kodan." Naruto frowned. "Tenma? The Tenma? Shouldn't you be dead from the Ronin attack?" Tenma laughed his head off as he just watched Naruto's confused and rather annoyed face. "Well, it's amazing when you have a slippery snake up your sleeve." Naruto frowned at that statement, slowly piecing it together in his kind. Orochimaru, the snake Sannin? You work for him? You know how that's gonna go. Bad, that's how. Orochimaru always betrays his potential partners. It's the man's hobby at this point. Tenma frowned. "You just don't get it. Orochimaru-sama is just... You just say that because he hates you, Konohinin." "No, I'm saying that because he's a pedophile, but you believe what you want to believe." Tenma glared at Naruto. You're a pestilence in my life. No matter, I shall cut you down right now." Tenma charged at him with great speed, intending to take his head off. Naruto blocked it with his sword before he was kicked back. His sword began glowing as he kept trying to slice Naruto to ribbons, but Naruto dodged it, but jumping to the right. "This guy's nuts. He's coming at me way harder than he did before. Then do the same. Fuck his shit up." Naruto nodded his head as he sent chakra to his blade, but Naruto didn't pay attention to him or just underestimate Tenma's speed. The man kicked Naruto down in the ground and had his foot on his chest to pin him down. Kichiro sighed in the seal. "Naruto, I just want to say you fucking suck ass. Guess I'll be saving you now." Before Tenma swung the sword down on him, snakes wrapped around both of his arms and pulled him to a wall nearby. "Ha!" Naruto looked up to see three women jump out of the shadows and smile at him. "A sensei? Sayori? When did you get here?" Naruto asked in shock. We hurried our asses with the mission of dealing with the other hideouts. If we're correct, this attack tonight will be the final attack on this village tonight by these ragtag losers, Sayori said. Well, the alcohol finally wore off, but I have a nasty headache. Thanks for the assist, Anko-sensei. The join-in smirked. Don't mention it. Now, Naruto, I thought you were a Kage-level shinobi. What happened? Naruto smirked, seeing his team all together. Got careless, sensei, but thanks for the save. I'll make sure it never happens again, and I'll return the favor too. You idiot, of course you got careless, Sayori said as she jumped down to help him up. It was then when the Okamikage saw all the team members, did he only feel joy in his heart. You poor simple-minded foot soldiers. You don't even know that it's already too late. Sensei, this is Tenma Kodan. He works alongside Orochimaru, he told me so himself. The snake revived him, and now he's back causing mayhem. Anko took the news, glaring at the man in front of her. So what's going on in the village? I did some recon before I came here, sensei. There seems to be multiple guards attacking the village. Then there's Kina, who is destroying everything in sight. Thankfully, those streets were deserted by evacuations, though he's quickly making his way to the more populated streets as everyone is running for shelter, but is being delayed by the multiple attacks. Then, there was this, but Naruto beat me here. What's going on? Why is the kid attacking his own village? What? Is he on meth? Anko-sensei, I don't know why, but I'll deal with Kina. He'll listen to me only. I'm his sensei after all, Naruto lied. If he told the truth, Anko wouldn't let him go alone. Tenma jumped up and grabbed his sword before laughing. I highly doubt that now, boy. The team ignored him as they planned. Fine, Sayori, I want you to deal with the multiple rogues. Help the guards of the village with the evacuation of civilian homes. Yakumo, you're with me? We're taking this bitch down. Right? Careful, he's insanely fast and his kenjutsu is truly tricky. He sliced through Mai with jutsu easy. Anko and Yakumo frowned, taking the Kitsune boys' advice to heart. They just have to be slippery like the summons they wield. We got it. Go! The Jonin said with Naruto and Sayori jumping off in different directions. Tenma laughed heavily as he watched them. Both Yakumo and Anko pulled out kunai and glared at him. What's so funny? Yakumo glared. It's like each and every one of you are sent to your different styles of death. It's almost poetic. Anko just smirked. Really strange. I got a poem for you. See, listen. Roses are red, violets are blue. I got 5 fingers. The middle one is for you. Yakumo laughed a bit before joining in. Oh, I got a better one. Roses are red, violets are blue. Faces like yours belong in a zoo. Don't be mad. I'll be there too. Not in the cage, but laughing at you. Anko and Yakumo were laughing like crazy as they continued their poetic roasts at the man, while Tenma glared heavily at them, though you can see the hurt in his eyes at being called ugly. Just shut up and fight me, bitches. With Sayori, the Uchiha ran along the rooftops with her sword, covered in blood. She had been having and slashing so many rogue shinobi since she left her sensei with orders to stop as many rogues as possible. There were many explosions coming at her, but she was fast and graceful, slicing and dicing each and every rouge her way. She had a group of normal guards that were following her to support her rampage through the village. After turning a corner, she saw one person standing in the street. He had a white lab coat on though, so she immediately thought him to be a doctor. Hey! Excuse me, Sayori shouted out. The man turned around and smiled at them. Oh, well, hello. Hey, isn't that Reisher? What's he doing out here now? He should be in the evacuation crowd. The guards of the village were discussing behind her back as they were wondering why he was outside right now. Don't you see there is an invasion going on right now? Why the hell are you outside? She said as she, too, was wondering. Oh, well, I was wondering where the last evacuation crowd was, so I was kinda lost. Sayori sighed. Now she had to escort a civilian now to the evacuation site. Her luck, she sheathed her sword before speaking. Follow us. We're running a route that will lead you straight to the hideout we chose. Reisher smiled innocently. Yes, of course. Sayori nodded to the troops behind her before they all left on foot with Reisher planning as he pulled out a certain vial labeled Kotaro. Better now than later. I was hoping to keep Kina in my sights, but with the rest of these damn Konoha Nins here, it'll prove troublesome. After running a while, dealing with a few other rouges at a time on their path to the evacuation site, Reisher drank the vial of Kotaro before he breathed it in the air, right behind the group of people. Huh? What's going on? What is this stuff? Why is it so T-? One by one the group was falling into a genjutsu-induced coma, making Reisher laugh at the utter easiness of the move. Heh! Idiots! He began to move again, but blocking his way was a shurikens that were embedded into the ground where he was about to step. Reisher sighed as he looked in front of him to see Sayori standing there. I should have known I couldn't trick all of you now, could I? Sayori glared at him with her Sharingan active. Reisher nodded his head, understanding entirely. I see, so it wasn't just a coincidence. You are in fact an Uchiha. Now I see, it makes sense. She glared at him. What are you talking about? What coincidence? Never mind that now. Anywho, I see why I couldn't get you with that move, that pesky Sharingan of yours. You saw the genjutsu in the cloud easy. Seems genjutsu is quite pointless in you. Sayori scoffed. Weak genjutsu of that caliber won't ever work on me. My brother is basically a genjutsu fanatic, trust me, that was child's play. Answer me this though, before I drag your ass through the street we're on. Reisher looked at her, waiting for the question to be thrown at him. Your name is Reisher, correct? Reisher Kodan, brother of Kina Kodan? Tell me, why are you doing this? Working with the enemy? Do you have any self-pride in your homeland? I know these people aren't really family, but they took you in when they could have kicked you out like the rest of your clan. Why? Reisher laughed at her as those words of bullshit left her mouth. You don't honestly believe the shit flying out of your mouth right now, do you? I'm sure you heard it from that fat-ass Okamikage. The village treats us like garbage. Lately, things have been decent since I run the pharmacy now, but in the past, it was utter trash for me and Kina, especially Kina. They hated us because we were the righteous clan, the clan that was right about our shinobi being this village's savior, but the Kumonoi clan was just too stubborn and jealous of our power, so they ruled us out. My father saw them for what they truly were and tried to overcome them, make them see reason by bringing a giant demon in the village to wreak havoc on the innocent. Yeah, that's what we do when we try to make people see reason, Sayori said sarcastically, but Reisher spoke again with craziness in his voice. Well, a few dead Kumonoi would be a better world. That's for sure. The bastards had it coming. Do you know what it's like to be walking in eggshells for the first couple of years of your life just to survive? Do you have any idea how hard it is to live in a village where nobody, sometimes not even yourself, cared if you lived or died the next day onwards? Sayori frowned a little. She may not know the feeling, but she's pretty sure someone close to her does, and she was ashamed to say that back then, she was the one of the peoples who made him feel that way. It almost made her want to vomit. It was just a forever reminder that she was a total bitch to him, and she really didn't deserve his forgiveness when she relives the things she said and done to him. She looked up. Her sullen Sharingan eyes grew powerful again as she glared at him. I can make a wild guess. Ha! Bullshit, you can't. You're an Uchiha. Praise is what you're born with. I wish I lived like that, but I guess fortune isn't for everyone. She frowned at his remark before he continued. My father brought Roan here, sure, but he never meant to kill anyone, but things slipped up and he had to seal it into Kina. I wanted to carry the burden for father. I trusted him the most and I valued him, but my stupid body was too weak to do it, so it had to be Kina, the newborn. Part of me envied and hated Kina for it, because I wanted to be Tsunade's weapon, but can't get everything you want. Sayori wanted to yak from the man's obvious daddy issues. Well, I'm not one to talk, she thought at the thought of her prick of a father. But anyway, father died sealing it into Kina, and during those years of his death, the village started hating us, me and Kina, so one day I had enough of it and snapped. I was gonna kill everyone, but I wanted more. I wanted to burn this village to ground. But thankfully, my feelings were understood. Orochimaru-sama resurrected my father and gave us the power to truly bring the village down. We gathered up our old clan members and we would siege this village. Our only tool that we needed was the easiest to find but hardest to acquire. Kina, your own brother. Kina wanted to be a shinobi more than any of us, yes, but he wanted to be accepted by the people so much, he'd fully leave Rikoku and protect it from the outside. My brother was always so foolish. He was the hardest to obtain in our goal, but thanks to him finding out his true heritage and a little nudge in the right direction. Kina is doing our bidding as we please, and we will raze this village to the ground and build anew. Sayori glared at him. I won't let you do that. I'll stop you here and now, traitor. Traitor. You're not even from here, you dumb bitch. No matter. I'll finish you with the awesome power Orochimaru-sama gave me. Release. Around him began these glowing reddish-orange marks that began to spread on his body. It soon made him grow bigger and more muscular, ripping his coat off through the sheer growth of his body. His skin began to change as well as its features. He grew black fur around his arms, chest and face while growing claws in his hands and feet while also growing fangs in his mouth. His eyes also changed to green, glaring into her red Sharingan eyes. He grew tall too. Towering over her to a smooth 7 feet, Sayori immediately knew that Orochimaru gave him the curse mark, just like he did Sasuke and Anko. Like my new form? This is the ultimate body Orochimaru-sama gave me, and I'll use it to crush you. Uchiha. Same girl glared hard at him as she got into her stance. The only thing that is going to be crushed is your body and spirit for thinking you can take me on with this pitiful form. Mutt, go ahead and dare try my power. With Naruto, we see Naruto running along the streets of the village, trying to find Kina in hopes of stopping him from doing something the kid will regret. Along the way, he encountered some lowly rouges and dealt with them with a simple sword stroke like a certain Uchiha on the other side of the village, though in his mind, he was thinking hard about the feeling of this hateful chakra. Naruto couldn't say he never felt this type of hate before because he had seen Naruto and Menma train in their tailed beast chakra a few times plus. The training with Ichi-sama was always a good thing to remember when dealing with killer intent. But this had a more ominous vibe to it, like it was trying to absorb you into nothing. This feeling of anger and hatred. It's so much. It feels so heavy. Whatever this kid is feeling, Naruto, it's some pretty deep shit. How far is he in his transformation? Can we still stop it? Of course we can. I'm a seal master now. All I need to do is hit him with my 5 elemental seal again, and we'll be right as rain. If he's still in Jinchuriki state, however, if he transformed, it'll be harder. We might have to do it the hard way. Yeah, I guess so. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Naruto kept running fast. Before he turned the corner, he saw the boy. Kina was nearing the crowd of civilians that were beginning to evacuate to the place where all of them were being kept safe. Kina, with the ominous chakra around him, slowly made his way towards the crowd to them. Made it just in time. Kina! Naruto shouted before he sped to his student, but when he got close to him, Kina immediately turned around and kicked Naruto in the face hard, launching him through 3 brick walls before finally stopping from the 4th wall. He shook his head from the hit before getting up while Kichiro sighed in his head. Today is just not your day, is it? How'd you get kicked in your face by your own student? Shut up, it was unexpected. I didn't think Kina would do that, but I forgot. In this state, he doesn't think. I'm gonna try to reach his common sense. And if that doesn't work, remember Anko's lessons. Dodge. Kichiro shut up after Kina slowly walked through the hole in the wall. Hey, Kina, buddy. I see you've been practicing your counterattacks. Good shit. That hurt a bit, but this isn't time for a spare. You know, I'm being serious, Naruto joked, but it fell on deaf ears. Kina was still walking towards him like a zombie. Soon, his dead eyes shifted to that of rage before he charged at him with the same speed as the other day, but Naruto was ready this time. His body flickered out the way, seeing Kina crash into a wall, nearly bringing down the entire wall down before he charged at Naruto again. Naruto instead blocked an overhead attack before grabbing the boy's neck. Then using his own leg to force trip him, he slammed Kina tongue ground. Listen, Kina-kun, you don't want to do this. Control yourself. I know you can fight it. The boy growled before he used his strength to push Naruto off him. Kina then charged up, jumping in Naruto's stomach with a punch, sending him outside by breaking through the ceilings to the roof. Naruto, in midair, saw Kina jump towards him, but the blonde just kicked him in his face to the cold, hard ground. Kina shook it off though before letting out a vicious roar into the night before the boy began to go through hand seals for a familiar fire jutsu. Naruto smirked. Last time he checked, the boy could barely do it. Sure, he saved his life with that ass attempt at the jutsu, but still. Though Naruto began to eat those words because out came a dragon-sized fireball that flew straight to Naruto's direction. You need to stop underestimating that boy. He's kinda kicking your ass here, Kichiro yelled. I know. Naruto dodged the jutsu by jumping into the air before landing on the same ground as the boy. Let's see how much damage you can take. Earth style, mud wall. When he did this, Kina was shot up into the sky when the ground beneath him launched him. Naruto then used his wood style to grab Kina before slamming him hard onto the ground. Naruto then jumped up to then create more handsets. Earth style, rock bullet jutsu. Naruto shot out multiple rocks at Kina's body, possible breaking multiple bones in the boy's body before he then set a wood dragon from beneath him to drag him along the concrete. Then, he finally ran after him with a Rasengan in hand and slammed it onto the boy's chest. Rasengan. Murder. Kichiro mocked, but Naruto played him no mind as the boy fell down to the floor, unmoving. Kichiro jumped out the seal to inspect the body and growled. Did you have to pull out all the heavy moves? Are you trying to kill him? Wait, don't answer that. I don't want to know. What? You said take him seriously, so I did. Besides, he's a Jinchuriki. Even a pseudo-tailed beast will heal any injuries, so he'll be fine. Besides, remember what I said to you back when in the Chunin exams when we fought Naruto? If I want to get to the source of the problem, I need to get him at his most angriest state. That's where you come in, my friend. Kichiro sighed. He knew what his container meant. Fine, but I still think the Rasengan at the end was a bit harsh. Well, he'll live, I think. If not, we might have a case on our hands, buddy. You might have a case on your hands, you fucking child murderer. Naruto cared at his fox. Oh, shut up and just get in here. You idiot, Naruto sighed in annoyance. Kichiro jumped in the seal, leaving Naruto with a seemingly unconscious Kina, emphasis on seemingly. Soon after Kichiro emerged back into the seal, Kina's chakra began to get all fuzzy and dark again, though it was more hollow, like a black hole that can never be fully filled. Naruto watched as he began to emit powerful energy, almost like he was transforming. Okay, buddy, lend me some chakra. Got it. Naruto began to feel the one-tails of tailed beast chakra fuel his chakra points. In his transformation, Naruto grabbed Kina's hand, connecting his chakra with Kina's, which allowed them to appear in each other's mind. In the mindscape, Naruto looked around immediately, trying to find Kina since this was definitely his mind. It was the scenery of the entire village, but it was empty, and they stood on the mountaintop, looked down at it. It's beautiful, the blonde said. Yeah, too bad all I get is the fucking sewer. Real classy Naruto. Naruto sighed. Of course he had to hear from Kichiro's bitching. Whatever. Where is the kid? The fox, who was beside the blonde, turned his head to the direction of the crying boy who was hiding behind a tree. It was clear it was Kina, obviously. Naruto slowly walked over to him with the fox kneeling down to the kid's height. Hey, Kina-kun, what's up, bud? The boy ignored him and cuddled his knees even further to sniffling and crying. Kichiro began to whine and nudged him with his nose. The boy finally looked up and saw Naruto and the fox from earlier. Naruto-sensei? Naruto smiled while Kichiro yipped, finally getting his attention. Hey, what are you doing down here crying like you are? You do know you're cooped up inside your head like a weirdo, right? Kina looked around, realizing he was outside the village, on one of the mountains his brother used to take him for pharmacy supply runs. No, we're not. We're outside the village. Kichiro shook his head. No, Kina, we're in your mindscape. Look at that sunset. Doesn't it look a little too odd for it to be normal? Kina turned his head, and it in fact did strike him as strange. The sunset, instead of reddish-orange, it was blue, like dark blue. I'm in my mindscape? I have a mindscape. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I mean, everyone does originally, but it's just a little bit more complicated to access because you're a Jinchuriki. That word made Kina freeze. Jin? Iki. Yeah, you're a Jinchuriki, a host for the beast that attacked your home the day you were born. I'm so sorry, Kina. I would have told you, but I felt like it would have been better if you didn't know. Wow, I kinda sound like the third Hokage. Naruto sat down in front of him, making Kina frown. The third Hokage? What, your leader? Previous leader were being led by the fourth now. The third Hokage, when per village gave birth to Jinchuriki, decided it would have been best to keep the fact that we're hosts out of our knowledge to spare us, and if you will, but my parents decided it was best to let us know. Seeing as it's our lives and it's our responsibility, so they told us what we were right from the beginning. Kina nodded his head. So you lied to me to spare me? Naruto nodded as Kichiro put his head on the blonde's lap as Naruto petted him. When we first sparred, you lost control. You were angry and you lashed out. The reason why your chakra control was so shitty was because of the seal I put on you to disrupt your chakra flow. Disconnect you from the beast you hold, which in turn made your training all the more difficult. That made Kina a bit mad since all the struggle was because he was tampered with. But it turned made me even more proud of you. Kina turned to Naruto to see him smile at him. Kina, even when I put on the seal, you still preserved through every single chakra control exercise. Every single one. Not to mention you have a jutsu in your arsenal now, though it still needs some work since you only used it twice. Lord knows how good you'll be once you actually get a grip on your regular chakra control with no interference. You're a real genius in the shinobi arts, Kina, and I'm proud to say you're my student. Kina widened his eyes before he began to cry again, but he was happy crying. Sensei. Thank you. He rushed to his sensei and hugged the crap out of him while Naruto laughed and Kichiro yipped in happiness. Wait, Naruto-sensei. You said your parents told you the truth. Does that mean dash? Naruto smiled as he pointed to himself. Yep. I'm also a Jinchuriki. To that MF right there. Kichiro turned his look towards him and glared at him. Eat my ass. Kina laughed at him while he petted his fox. So that's what you meant when you said you understood me and went through all that hatred. Naruto nodded his head. I hold the nine-tailed fox, that's him, Kichiro. He's a lazy fox most of the time and he's a pain in the ass sometimes, but when I'm in trouble, I can always count on him. He is my familiar, my bestest friend and my brother, my family. But speaking of rage, Kina, why are you going on such a rampage? Did Naruto hurt you that much to really be this destructive? Kina frowned, having remembered the talk with his brother. No, I mean, it was part of the reason, but not quite. You see, Reisher told me that my father was alive, and it was true, I saw it. He told me that he sealed the beast in me, protecting the village from Roan. They killed my mother brutality but banished my father in order to keep us safe, but they only treated us like trash, but father returned, and he also worked with Reisher to save us from the awfulness that is the village. Naruto and Kichiro frowned heavily. That fucking traitor. What? Kina said, confused. Kina, Reisher lied to you. Your father lied to you. While I can't say much about th treatment of the village, but they also work for Orochimaru. I met up with your father earlier before I came here. He just wants to destroy and rebuild the village because they exiled the shinobi program from this village. It has little to do with how they treat you, part of it, sure, but not the main reason. They tricked you into using Roan's immeasurable strength to squash the village so they can easily take over. Orochimaru just planted the seeds in their heads. They're just toys to that man. Kina widened his eyes, again, feeling the rage build up in him. He was just a pawn to them? All those times he was with Reisher, playing with him, the laughing, was it all fake? And his father, was he just out and about, planning this the entire time so he can one day reclaim what was his? He didn't even care how he suffered under the village's abuse. No. He was counting on it so he can mold him in the right kind of killer. They didn't care about him. Not really. They just wanted to rule and use him as their object to power. Just as Kina was about to burst in rage, Naruto put a hand on his head to calm him down. Relax. Breathe. We'll deal with them in a minute, but first you have to calm down. Can't have you break out into another rampage. Kina frowned, but he knew his sensei was right. He soon slowed down his breathing and began to relax. He was calm again, but not for long when the three heard a deep voice. but I want to break out into a rampage again. Soon, Kina was grabbed by a large hand with claws from behind the tree as he was pulled in. Naruto-sensei, help! Hang on, Kina. I'm dash. Too late. In the real world, Naruto was shot out the mindscape from a powerful force of energy. What the fuck? He shouted as Kina's body began to rise, repairing all the broken bones and injuries he had obtained before his transformation began to really take place. He began to grow huge as the boy lost control. Naruto jumped back when a large paw came down to him as he grew as big as the village. The thing was a bluish-black tiger-wolf hybrid with an aura of chakra all around it. I'm free at last. Took a big inhale of the air inside. All the chakra in the village. Smells appetizing. Though no one's chakra smells even remotely more filling than yours, the monster glared down at Naruto with his blue and yellow eyes. He sniffed him and spoke. Yes. Definitely you. Naruto Kitsune HM? Well, I'll remember you when you definitely become one with all the others' chakra. What do you say, little fox? Naruto smirked as he heard that. Kichiro, you heard that, buddy? He said that we're little foxes. Hee. I did hear that, Naruto. You know I don't take kindly to those types of words. Me neither. I guess we'll have to beat some manners into him, huh? I guess we're going for that. Right? Damn right we are. Link up. Both Naruto and Kichiro smirked as Roan grabbed Naruto's body to absorb all his chakra, but when he picked him up, Naruto exploded into a bright yellow light. What? Roan watched as a bright figure now as tall as him stood before him with glaring red eyes. It had taken a form of nine-tailed fox in a transparent golden chakra form with its whiskers thick and black circles appearing on his shoulders and stomach, while the lines also run along his arms, legs, and each tail it has. Inside the giant chakra fox was Naruto standing tall and proud though his appearance changed. Naruto's eyes changed from blue to orange while his pupils becoming slitted. His whiskers became thicker while his clothes changed too. He began glowing a golden chakra-like cloak that surrounds his haori. On the outside of the collar, it showed 6 Magatama markings and a circle design on his stomach. Naruto also gained 2 horns in his head. Link complete! Link complete. Kichiro stood tall and proud before Roan and glared at him. Naruto shot out his hand in a safe type of way. We'll show you whose little once we're done with you. With Anko and Yakumo, the 3 were fighting heavily with the Okamikage, hiding behind the house. Both Yakumo and Anko were both roughed up a bit due to how skilled Tenma was with the blade. Each attack they threw at him, he sliced through with that annoying blade of his. Naruto wasn't playing around. This dude really is built different. He sorta reminds me of Orochimaru with his sword style. Must be where he got it from. Maybe that's a knockoff version of his snake sword. Lord knows why that shit is so powerful. She looked at the fight between Yakumo and Tenma as the 2 were going at it. Tenma went to slice her down the middle, but Yakumo used her hidden snakes to grab hold of a light pole on the street to pull her out the way before he got her. She landed on the wall before launching herself at the man with a kunai to block his attack with the sword, but he ended up kicking her back to the wall she came from before charging at her to impale her. Anko acted quick though, using her same snakes to grab on him to prevent him from killing Yakumo. In that time frame, Yakumo jumped off the wall to bring a 3-hit combo. 1 punch in his stomach, 1 in his face, and the last to his chin, uppercutting him. During that he dropped his blade and Yakumo tended to grab it, but Tenma wielded him without using his hands before attempting to try again and sever Yakumo's head, but Anko personally got involved and blocked the sliver with her kunai, though Tenma punched her in the face after. A quick jab actually to stun her, but Yakumo easily countered that with a kick to his stomach, launching him away from them. Though Tenma didn't go far as he used a grapple to swing himself around with the momentum given and flew right back to them. Once he reached them, he swung at their heads though both ducked, but Anko charged first with 2 kunai out. You're dead. She ran at him and then tried to slice and hack at the ma, but he blocked all her attacks simple before he sent a slice to her leg that created a nasty gash. Oh! She shouted in pain. I still seem quite alive. Tenma smirked before sending the sword across her chest. Sensei! Yakumo cried out but saw that it was a substitution. That didn't save her from the hair pull though, as Tenma grabbed her by her beautiful locks and slammed her body to the wall and tried to stab her, but Yakumo caught the blade in her gloved hands to prevent it from penetrating her flesh, though Tenma was superior to her in strength. So she was failing, but luckily enough Anko came in and kicked him in his face while Yakumo cracked his wrist, the one in which had the hand gripping the sword, which made it fly in the air while Tenma was pushed back a few feet. Anko tried to catch the sword, but when she grabbed the handle, it sent an explosive shock that launched her and Yakumo back. When they landed on their butts, Tenma was laughing. "You fools, you think I was stupid enough not to think that my own blade can be turned against me? Though not the best, I am a seal master. I made sure the only person who can even think about touching that blade is a Kodan member, and even a Kumonoi clan member since their blood is mixed with ours." Anko frowned. "Damn. We need to find a way to separate that sword from him, otherwise that's our ass. I'm not sure how much more of this I can take," she thought, looking at the gash on her leg, bleeding profoundly. "Anko-sensei, your leg." "Never mind it now, Yakumo. We have to find a way to keep him from his sword." Yakumo frowned from thought before she thought of someone who is a Kumonoi clan member that is nearby right now. "The Kumonoi clan, my clan, has discovered this powder and used it against our villains in the past to win our war. It was a gamble, but they really didn't have much options now. It was now or never, and it was time the leader of this village take some sacrifice for its protection." Yakumo nodded her head at Anko, who looked at her confused, before she charged at the man, or more accurately, the sword. Tenma ran at her, intending on grabbing it and cutting her in two, but Anko charged her distant attack. Fire style, Dragon Flame Jutsu. She shot out a fire dragon head at the Kodan clan member, but he dodged it by jumping to the right, giving Yakumo the clear advantage to the sword. She gripped the handle of the sword, sending a wave of pain through her body as she continued to grip the sword before she picked it up and tossed it in the hiding spot of the Okamikage. The blade logged itself in the wall, right in front of him, scaring the man. "Take it and run," she shouted. The Okamikage grabbed it and it didn't do anything, making Yakumo smile that she was correct, but Tenma charged at the Kage for the blade, but the Kurama clan member grabbed him with her snakes and held him in place. Anko charged in now and sent a devastating kick to the spine, pinning him to the ground. "Run. We got him, go." The man nodded before he pulled the heavy sword out the wall before he ran another way. "Now what are you gonna do without your fancy blade?" Yakumo said before she pinned his hands with kunai, preventing him from doing that telekinesis thing with the sword. "Lights out," Anko said before kicking him in his face. Both sighed as the man was finally taken down. Anko fell to her knees as she tried to bandage her leg up, but Yakumo swatted her hand away. "Let me, sensei," she said with confidence as she began to heal the wound with her healing jutsu. Anko only looked at her favorite pupil in pride. "You really grew, Yakumo. I remember just the other day when you couldn't even lift a fake kunai right. Here you are punching craters in walls and shit. You damn brat." As the wound finally closed, Yakumo helped her sensei up off her feet, though the two went crashing back down when they felt a huge tremor on the ground. They lifted their heads to see a black animal thing towering over the village fighting another huge fox looking. "No way," Anko said as she looked at the golden fox have a shoving contest with the beast. "Ai, is that Kichiro?" Yakumo said as she saw the golden fox punch the beast down on the ground. "What the hell?" both yelled, with Sori. "Lightning blade." The female Uchiha went to pierce the man's chest, but Reisher moved to dot the side faster than she anticipated, but she saw what he was going to do next. Using her lightning body flicker to move out of the way from a punch he sent her that would have been critical. "Damn it," she thought as she cancelled her jutsu. His reflexes were almost as fast as hers, so it was difficult to land a good blow on him. That wasn't the only problem, though. Reisher charged at her with extraordinary speed before jumping in the air before forcibly charging down to the spot where she was standing, but Sori read his movements well. She jumped back from his landing on her before dodging his sloppy attacks. The only thing that was keeping him dangerous was his strength and speed, but when you have an opponent who reads you well with fast reflexes, you tend to be in a tight spot. Reisher growled in an animalistic way. "Hold still." But obviously she wouldn't hold still. He sent 3 fast strikes under 1 second and she dodged them all before her eyes detected an opening right lower side of his torso. She instantly charged her Jutsu and striked. Lightning blade, she stabbed him instantly, though her hand couldn't get deep enough because of the tight muscles the curse mark gave him, but it was deep enough. He let out a shout of pain that was more like a roar and elbowed her in the face. She flew back, but she did some backflips to slow her momentum down. When she stopped, she glared at him as she saw the hole close up as he grinned at her with his sharp teeth. "You're gonna have to do better than that," he said, making the Uchiha groan. Then there was that damn curse mark gave him the ability to heal himself. So whenever she did get a successful blow, and it was usually critical, he would always heal and come back for more like a supercharged idiot. So besides super strength, super speed, and super durable, add on regeneration abilities and what do you get? A big sack of shit. So this whole entire time they've been fighting, not one side has advanced in battle since despite his overwhelming power, she can still predict every move he makes and her fast reflexes make it known while she can injure him. He always heals right then and there, so any damage inflicted upon him was pointless, that is until he went into a bit of a coughing fit. He fell in one knee as he began to cough like his life depended on it. "WW what?" he said weakly as he began to cough again. Sayori smirked. Now was her chance. She charged at him with great speed, raised her blade high before she sent the slash to his neck to slice off his head, but the man still caught her wrist and before sending a strong punch to her stomach that made her see double. "Nice try, you almost had me there." Her body slammed into the house, breaking through the wall and landed on a couch that actually broke her impact. "Oh, such luck. What is this memory foam?" She mumbled peacefully, a couch pillow, almost forgetting she was in a fight at the moment. Reisher wasted no time as to grab her from the couch by her neck and choke the life out of her. Sayori tried to pry his hands off hers, but to no luck, but she grabbed her katana and in a quick slice, cut off both his arms that held her so she can live. Reisher roared in pain while Sayori gasped for air. He began to slowly repair his arms, but he went into a coughing fit again, this time more hectic than the last. Sayori frowned when she finally got a good look at him with her Sharingan. She saw that his chakra points were beginning to fail him, more specifically the places she damaged. The lower side of his torso had closed off completely. Then she checked his arms as she had severed the arms entirely. Once his arms grew back, the chakra points in his arms grew back, but they weren't functioning like they should be. Some were cut off from the flow while others were on and moving to irregular points of the body due to their original destinations being closed off. Sayori analyzed. His body's chakra points are being sealed off one by one. This only seems to happen when he has to regeneration a fatal injury, like when I stab him with my lightning blade or when I cut off his arms. So his biggest weakness is not below average technique, but the very thing that saves him. I need to make use of that. But how? I could keep looking fatal attacks at him, but it will take too long and his guard will be up even more now. But an supercharged attack should do. I have just the jutsu. Sayori began to crack her knuckles as he chakra spiked. First to lead him outside, said as she body flickered outside on a rooftop. She waited for the wolf-like man to return to his senses from the mind-numbing pain to get her. Once he jumped outside, she smirked. This is over. You can't beat me. You never could. This is where you die, though as last looks go, you could do worse. Sayori smirked at him. Is that what you think? What you truly think? Damn right it is. And after you, I'm gonna kill everyone in this damn village, including my own brother. Sayori glared at him, inwardly having flashbacks with her and Sasuke. You sick fuck. Burn in hell. Reisher smirked. You first. After that, he charged at her with great speed. He launched himself at her from the ground, which made her smirk. She then ran through multiple handsets and then sent out a building-sized lightning dragon that was controlled from her Chidori. Lightning style. Raging dragon. The lightning dragon glared down at Reisher with its red eyes. Be gone in a snap. When she snapped her fingers, the dragon lunged at Reisher and struck, damn near like a lightning strike. Created a huge explosion in the middle if the street, damn near like an electric nuke. That explosion destroyed the houses around it, the only regret that Sayori had though, but she got her target. When she walked into the crater, which was 10 feet deep, Sayori walked down to see a shriveled man in the middle of the crater. Well, seems like I just beat you. Reisher tried to get up, but he was in so much pain and his regeneration wasn't working, so he was stuck. Why? Why is my powers failing me? My regeneration should be healing and attack like that easily. Sayori sighed. I'm no medic, so I believe my teammate could give a better diagnosis, but I'll tell you what I do know. Your regeneration is a neat trick, I'll give you that, but it was also very risky, especially on your chakra point. Your body was unable to fully handle its straining ability, or rather, it couldn't handle it at all. Every cell that was destroyed, your chakra was pushed beyond its maximum ability to reproduce a new one which would permanently shut it down. So my plan was to make you use your regeneration ability to its max by hitting you with a finishing attack that would obliterate any normal person. The fact that you're alive speaks wonders of the healing abilities. Reisher growled in anger. He was beaten. So easily? He was read so easily. Impossible. He can't lose here. He has to keep his father's dream alive because this village deserves to die and be destroyed and forgotten. I was supposed to rule beside father. And you'll now rule the jail cell. The prison walls is now your oyster. Fascinating, she said as she clocked him on the head to knock him before she sat down herself to take a breather. She exhausted too much chakra, so she needed to relax some. She sheathed her sword before she sat on the ground to catch her breath. She then wondered how everyone else was faring as of now since she did her part. She then began to think about her blonde and grew a bit worried. He was facing a tailed beast by himself again. Granted, it wasn't really a tailed beast, but it was still big and strong enough to resemble one. Naruto may have gotten super strong over the years, but still, a beast is a beast. How can he even hope to combat that? Yeah, you like that bitch. Soon a loud boom could be heard across the village. Sayori fell over a bit before from the tremor, but she swore she could have heard a loud voice. It almost sounded like Kichiro. Sayori jumped out the crater to see what her eyes were telling her, and not drugs was a giant wolf like tiger fighting a golden fox with 9 tails. She activated her Sharingan and immediately saw Naruto in the chakra avatar. She just stared at it with slight disbelief, relief, and also a bit of jealousy. How? How did he obtain such power in 3 years? 3 years away and he's this strong, she said as she clenched her fist in slight frustration. She wasn't angry with Naruto, no, she was angry at herself, thinking that she was close to his power level. She was so delusional. Obviously, she has just barely passed Naruto's previous power level. She was a fool to believe they were fully on equal strength levels when he even declared himself on a Kage level when she was just merely Jonin level. I need to get stronger so that I can fully stand by you and call us equals. With Naruto, take this. Roan charged at him and rammed his body in Kichiro's avatar-like body. Kikro grunted before he punched Roan down and picked him up. Grrrr, you're so fucking annoying. He then tossed Roan down to the ground, but the tiger wolf used its hind legs to kick Kichiro away. The giant fox landed on the other side of the village, making sure his tails broke his fall. Naruto spoke. He's kind of beating your ass right now, you know? Don't talk. Naruto immediately shut up, seeing his fox companion looking so angry. Kichiro got in all fours before he charged at him before he body-checked the beast and they began to wrestle. They began to bite and scratch one another before Kichiro sneakily grabbed Roan with 2 of his tails, lifted him over the fox and then slammed him on the other side of him. Roan grew sick of this charade as he turned around. His mouth began glowing a hot red. Oh shit! Roan blasted Kichiro with some laser beam like fire which pushed the fox away from him. Can I just use a tailed beast bomb? No. The damage will be too great, we could kill people. We'll use smaller scale just to, like fox fire, Naruto said as slapped his hands together. Kitsune style. Kitsune bye. Kichiro stopped blocking the laser beam with his forearms and channeled Naruto's jutsu through his mouth, fighting back against the laser beam. Let Kina go. Don't make me have to use force here. Me and my companion are being rather nice considering we don't obliterate you here and now. You're a fool. By saying that, I already know I'm holding all the chips in this fight, since I hold something you want. He kinda holds a point, Naruto, Kichiro said, still blasting Roan with foxfire while the same could be said with the laser beam. But Kina would want me to kill him if it meant I killed you. Kina is a shinobi, he would sacrifice himself for the greater good. Naruto then changed the tempo up by assisting Kichiro with wind style. Wind style. Vacuum sphere. Naruto assisted the foxfire as it blew over to Roan and blasted him back, burning the beast a bit, but Kichiro charged again with his tails as each string tail grabbed a limb, one for each. The rest of the 5 tails each charged up a giant Rasengan. To oblivion it is. Now, the tails that held the jutsus shot forward in a fast striking attempt, all slamming into Roan's stomach, creating agonizing pain for the beast before Naruto jumped out the chakra avatar to then slap a seal over Roan's forehead, which stopped Roan altogether as he fell over, defeated. Naruto landed on the ground by Roan's eye as it began to close from losing consciousness. What did you hit me with? Chakra suppression seal. I used this to seal your chakra back in the seal by putting this tag on you. You're now going back inside of Kina now. Just needed to get close enough, and to do that was to make you stop moving. You're a tricky bastard to pin down, I'll give you that. Ain't that right, Kichiro? He's just lucky. That's all, I didn't warm up. I am the Might Nine Tails. I fall to no one. Sure. Okay. Well, make sure this is the last time I see you out without permission. If I find out you escaped, we'll be back to finish the job. Roan scoffed before he lost consciousness and his body was gone in a puff of smoke, leaving behind Kina's small body. Naruto ran to him and picked him up. Kina-kun? Buddy, hey, you all right? Kina's eyes began to flutter open slowly before he actually opened fully. Naruto-sensei, you're so bright. You're fire. Ah, holy crap. We need water. Jesus, you'll never look the same again. The fire spread all over your body. Oh no, you'll look like a flaky raisin for the rest of your life. Naruto sighed. No, Kina, I'm not on fire. Oh, you're not? Oh well, I guess that's why you're so calm about it. The blonde sighed at his student. So you beat him? You beat Roan? Yeah, we did. Kina smiled, he then went back to sleep. Good. Wait, my brother. My dad. All taken cared of. Naruto turned his head to see Anko, Yakumo and Sayori standing there with 2 bodies in their possession. They threw down the 2 and Kina frowned seeing their forms. What's gonna happen to them? Team looked at one another before they turned to the kid. Worst case scenario, execution. Best scenario, imprisonment. Either way, you're not seeing them again, kid. Kina looked a bit sad to hear that. No matter what they did to him, Reisher still raised him. Kina was let down by Naruto as he walked to the 2 last family members he had left and looked sad. Now he was truly all alone. Come with us. Everyone turned to see Naruto, who now reverted back to his original form with Kichiro, who shrunk back down to regular size. Come back with us to Konoha, Kina. There, you can train to your heart's desire. You can go to the academy. We all know the teacher there personally, some more than others. Anko blushes at that comment. You can be a shinobi of our village. You can be ninja like you want to be, and most importantly, you won't be alone. Kina thought about it for a while and smiled. Yeah. Take me to Konoha. He jumped up to Naruto and hugged him, though if anyone could see it, they would have saw Kina's frown of determination on his face of what he knew he had to do. And done. Please comment and vote your thoughts on this chapter. THX beaming face with smiling eyes, 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 beaming face with smiling eyes.